Birwa, Chairman of the Public Accounts Committee.
My name is Victor Palolo, member of the committee, Kenya West.
Mau East.
Over here is Sam Diwa, Buteti West.
Boniface Mabeo, Kamalete.
Uncle Shimamunaki, Honorable Molepola South.
Uncle.
Le Petri Lesedi Seroy South, member of this committee.
Thank you very much. We also have the staff from the Attorney General.
Kawelina and Deputy Government Attorney General's Chambers.
From the Auditor General.
Keneilwe Senyarelo, Acting Auditor General. Kenali.
Janet Mahana, Deputy Auditor General. Thanks.
From the Accountant General.
Good morning. My name is Grace Ndise Kwababe, Deputy Accountant General. Kenali.
Kutsefalo Amen, the Acting AAG Accounts.
Yes, DIS, you can introduce yourselves.
Thank you, Chair. Today I'm with my Deputy Director General, Mr. Monamo, to my left.
Mr.
Monamo.
Monamo.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I do have my Public Relations Officer, Mr. Robert, sitting next to Mr. Monamo. And I do have Mr. Manyanda.
Sorry, what's his name again?
Mr. Monamo.
No.
Robert, sir. Robert, sir, is my peer, our peer. And lastly, I'm with Mr. Manyanda, who is my Director of Finance. Thank you, sir.
Where is the Director of Finance? Okay. So where is your deputy? Ramunam is here. Okay. Thank you very much, DIS. Have you introduced yourself?
I'm so sorry, sir.
I thought maybe you are well known.
I'm the Deputy Director General, Retired Brigadier Peter Fanamahosi, sir. Thank you, sir. And
thank you very much, Ramahosi. I get to tell how my now kit tiro. When I give you out in my kids, the late, yet a good name, Spanner. No, he's the Director General. He has his deputy with him, and the Finance Director is here. Thank you very much. You've been summoned to give evidence in this Public Accounts Committee of the Republic of Botswana. You'll be expected to give oath. You may choose to give oath by way of the Bible or by way of affirmation. Mahosi, which one do you choose?
I would choose to do the Bible.
You choose? Oh, the Bible. Thank you. If you choose the Bible, put your left hand in the Bible and raise up your right hand. You've been doing it for quite some time now, I know. Is that your left hand? Okay. I. Your name?
DG, Retired Brigadier Peter Fanamahosi.
Swear by Almighty God.
Swear by Almighty God.
That the evidence I shall give.
That the evidence I shall give.
Before this Committee of Parliament.
Before this Committee of Parliament.
Shall be the truth.
Shall be the truth.
And nothing else but the truth.
And nothing else but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Finance Director, it's your turn. How do you choose to take oath? Hey, and then put up your Right hands. I
Baso Kevin Manyanda,
swear
swear
by Almighty God
by Almighty God
that the evidence I shall give
that the evidence I shall give
before this committee of parliament
before this committee of parliament
shall be the truth
shall be the truth
and nothing else but the truth.
and nothing else but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much. The way we choose to proceed, DG, we are going to ask you to speak to the executive summary. And we don't want you to go to town on it. 5-7 minutes, just summarize the executive summary. And then we will give members of parliament, members of the committee, a chance to ask questions and seek clarifications on the issues. I know you have been here before. I know you know that we are a very friendly lot, and feel free to explain, be as truthful and as honest as you can be, because you are under oath. Thank you very much. Give us your executive summary, sir.
Thank you, Chair. Sir, we are so pleased to be summoned before this committee today to account, as it is our responsibility as different government organizations, to ensure that the responsibility given to us is carried out diligently. So, firstly, I would like to appreciate the fact that the PAC, on an annual basis, expects us to account for our activities of the previous year. In the previous PAC, sir, we tried by all means to indicate to the PAC that we are limping in one way or the other, because unlike all the other security agencies, we still up to date, since the formation of the organization up to date, we still don't have the Parliamentary Committee on Intelligence and Security. And this committee, sir, is very, very vital, because our administrative issues are supposed to be taken to this committee to be able to guide us, to monitor us, and to supervise us. However, I'm pleased to say the other committees that are the oversight committee, being the CIC, being the PAC, being the CIC, PAC. These are the committees that we, from time to time, account to them. And our biggest problem, sir, is the funding for all the activities of the organization. In my summary, in short, we are talking about the limitations that we have. We are talking about the capabilities that we would like to build that will be able to assist us to take this country forward in terms of national security. We are talking about the remuneration of the employees under the DIS. We are talking about the issue of accommodation, transport, and many other support services that would make it easy for us to move forward. But basically, sir, what we really would like to request is for the Parliamentary Committee on Intelligence and Security to be put in place, because that way we will not be able to have excuses, because we'll be having a committee that we account to on a daily basis. In the previous financial years, we've had a lot of cases that were taken before the courts. And some of the cases being those cases that we believe, had we had the committee in place, some of them would not have gone to that far. However, I, as accounting officer of the organization, I've always made it very clear that we all have our constitutional rights. Where any individual within the organization feels that she or he is not being done justice, he's got the liberty to go to the courts. So that is one other issue that we saw a lot of activities in that area where some of the members within the organization felt aggrieved and felt that they should go to the courts. I believe, sir, with that short summary, I've tried to cover the tabulated executive summary of our report. I thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. We take it as read. That's why I said you should be as brief as possible, and you have been very brief. I thank you very much for that. I am now looking at members of parliament to ask questions. Before they ask questions, before we ask difficult questions, I think you have actually made an appeal to us that you are limping because of the absence of the Parliamentary Committee on Intelligence. That is noted, Ramahosi. We note it is a matter that we continue to engage on. The circumstances around the absence of that committee is that it didn't look like it is a parliamentary committee by way of its selection and nomination. So there is an issue around that, but we continue to engage it. So we have heard you. Secondly, in the last engagement with you, when I was a member of the committee, we did talk about a specific issue, which I think you and your public relations officer have worked on. You remember I talked about the drama and the public display of power when you handle suspects. I think nowadays the situation has ebbed somewhat, right? So at least thank you for that one. We'll talk about other issues. Is that you, public relations officer, who helped with that one? Because there was a lot of drama. People holding guns and everywhere, sirens, numerous cars following a singular suspect. But yeah, I see some improvement, Director General. You are doing your work quietly.
Thank you, sir. This is why I touched on the issue that in this previous financial year, we will see a lot of cases going before the courts. Because there comes a time as a leader where you say enough is enough and you take an action.
Yeah.
And that's what I've done, sir.
Yeah, at least that one I want to give you credit before we go into other areas where you may not get same credit. He wanted to come first. Did you want to come first?
Okay, thank you.
And then you come.
Yeah, ne ke re ho mo lebile ka. Me re dumediseng director and the rest of your team. GIS is the animal in the room in the country. Hone motho ha ka botsa ka recruitment patterns tsa lona HR. Hore na re go go GIS kwa le recruiter ka tsela e ntseng jang. Transparency. Whoever is the headship, whoever is responsible, picks hela ki direct appointment hela. Agona mo go twing la ka iteka le sego batho ba go roga re itse gore expectancy ele batang intsi la se ka bophara. Ya mo go tsama yo hala go pikiwa motho a le one bo go se mama ya no ke le director se mama ya no ke le deputy director se mama ke ene headship ha o wa le ba se mama yo ke se mama yo na tsala ga se mama le re go ritsa ka tsela e ntsenya a me yone efficiency e te hela sente gone kwa in terms of productivity, in terms of go itse gore ha to dirwa mo tirong yone la go te motho o recruitile ha re wa retsa nna re motho yo o recruitile o tswa ka intelligence o ka itse ka tsela e ntseng ya ha o bona mothala le dira ya of lately ro twa go te ya no madibela thopo ke bone ba ba gorogang ko ya no bona madibela thopo ela re a itseng batho ba modimo la tselele tawa kana me le ta di ke intelligence sa bobedi ke komite ya mapalamente. Yes, ha ya nna teng, but I think we all know what happened in the past. Gore ne re sa dumalane le tse pedi tse tharo ka ha ne re dumela gore di a etsa ga e tsamaye sente ka teng ga e ranwe sente ka teng ga e gate sente ka teng. It's not within its mandate and we are not going to be part of that. Re dumalane gompieno gore that committee should be there with the hope that there will be a paradigm shift in the way DIS you operate ka yone ka teng ke dumela gore e tla nna teng. Issue ya funding, yes, right. Government, of course, yes, does not have funds in abundance. But how at the same time, happen let na kila mo parliament ke la ke khatse ke duta ka dia se ke potsa rani mosola go e funda ke ka gore go le ba re isa madi go tshenyo ha ile gore ha gona accountability mo DIS, then why should we fund an institution that does not account? Ha ile re tautala madi a tshwarang ka disekri sa ka hela motho a tabola hela go sa itse re o tsere bokae gone mme ke boammaaruri go tabolwa hela. What kind of an institution would be that? Now mo tsedingwe re tsela gore ke dikgatsere a tsene re uta go te ye no supa batho ka monwana hela be ba swa ile le sole a mo re tsela re ke dikgantse di ntseng yalo gongwe you need to verify to us gore your accounting processes in terms of bomadi le tse dingwe hela jalo di ntse ja kore you know batho ba ba le mo DIS ra ba itse re tshela nabo re godile nabo. And when you see a person over now, but this person, I have struggled more than him or her, mo botshelo, but it's a very luxurious life. How can't they, comrade, dira la kae motho ngo ka bona mahula matala nako o italo re ke DIS
OP
or me motako ka re me ene hela intelligence o ka ikgona ka ke godile nae but ke o tsela botshelo hela jo ile gore re mo mathate. Of course di khantsa di khota tsekelo wa di bua ba bereki le bone ba ba le mo DIS ba lela thata gore ba kolotiwa ha ba duele sente ka tsela nngwe and all the sorts yone le bo khakala bokae go e hetsa in terms of go ba duela. And then go na le khanye bontsi jwa setšhaba bo dumelang gore there is an overreach ya DIS hand dio se tshwanang tsa dithopo ha go diragala dithopo be le gore you know the officers there batho ha le ha re wa botsa nna re batho ba le ke bo ma go te ke DIS but do we really need DIS gone ha isn't mapodisi ba reinforcitswe ke masole ba le visible are they enough? Then why do we have Nathan, because you have a reputation as an institution, an intimidating reputation for that matter, of which you need to clean up. Once you are there in some sensitive areas like Tzaditopo, especially and all the sorts, how may not cause for conflict unnecessary. But if you the DIS was not there, issue ya di tender gore in the past o ka re le ne le tsole le ntsinyana mo di tendering gore na rone me intelligence and tenders, because if it's PPADB it's PPADB, it should be doing its work ya no mai lo gore go tawa di wa tendera and then mo na le intelligence ya gore is in company or hang company. What kind of intelligence was used there? What kind of information was used to come to that particular decision? And it costs you look at my water works project, whereby a company was paid something like 112 million for hotel tender in a ditch. That's a lot of money. Yeah, it's a lot of money. We are talking about a school there, one or two. Maybe we need to do things better. Public service here, how le ba go godimo kwa ke di acting. Harwa botsa bo PS, kante PSP, kante hati acting o kana mo public service ke wa e. Hey, ho ha go le ba sambo go vetiwa. Ho ha go le ba sambo go vetiwa. Ao, le pateletsa batho ta batho ba modimo. Le feta eng se kana se public service sa bereke. Kanta ta vetting ya lona. Why should you be vetting Batswana ba bereka ka hore ha ile hore ke issue ya tshenyo? The processes tsa tshenyo. And lastly, the elephant in the room, la bo hello che.
Yes.
Go na selo se video a Tautona lodge. Ho ira hala e go lokwa. You'll answer. Le rekile me mo dibukeng ha go supe 58 million go supa madi a go tase ga go na di phologolo tse di mo teng di ile kae? Ditau le dikgomo. Gompieno ana e dirisiwa eng hela? And ke mayo tsa madi a teng a ya kae? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, DJ Lihira Jan.
Thank you, sir. Ne ke kopa gore ke simolole ko tlase mongane ke go godimo if I may be allowed, sir.
That's fine. That's fine.
Thank you, sir. Mongane ke a leboga sir. Ke ne ke kopa gore ke simolole ka Tautona. It's not Tautona Lodge, it's Tautona Farm. Yes, sir.
Meaning that there is a farm and a lodge.
Mongame,
or what are we saying here?
As security organizations, there are operational requirements. You look at police, you look at BDF, you look at DIS. There are certain areas where they own land for the operational purpose. Less than 5 kilometers from Tautona Farm, there's a farm at BDF.
There is?
There's a farm at BDF. Less than 5 kilometers, Diba Beach. Mongame, if you look at the costs at which the land that is owned by the BDF was procured for, it's much higher than the land that was procured by the DIS. If you look at the sizes, the size of the land owned by the BDF is much smaller than the size of the land that is owned by the DIS.
But Chairman, we're not here to compare BDF with DIS. I agree with your putsoka this Tautona land.
Yes.
Answer, stick to the answer about that land. Here the comparison, BDF like Garabel.
I'm trying to...
BDF is coming.
Yes, sir. I'm trying to justify. Secondly, that farm is measuring, I think, about 4,000 hectares. In that farm, 4,000 hectares. Sir. In that farm, there is a lodge. There are 3 boreholes. There were cattle. There were wild animals. The reason why we acquired that land, we needed it for the operational purpose of the state security. As a state security, the operations are classified, or say, they're not out in the open. What we do in that area, sir, is for the benefit of the organization. Having the lodge in there was an added advantage, which we still require for operational purpose. When we acquired that land, there was an argument there for this land now that is going to be 100% owned by government. Why can't the profits turn into government? We are the only country in the world so far that does not do covert operations in this way. That is the first thing that we have done, Mongani.
Could you kindly repeat that?
We are the only country, the only organization in the world that will not be able to do its covert operation without being taken out into the public. We're the only country. Intelligence is a peer, that's how it is. What we need is to be able to account for each and every penny that we spend, and that we have done, Bangani. What we do with the lodge.
Let me just say this here.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair. Because we are dealing with Tautona Lodge, and I know members have got interest in it, so I'll give them space to ask you questions on this one. It may be a bit on the longer side. I want you to state in the here and now under oath that farm is a DIS farm. Because we have had several answers in Parliament, both coming from the previous administration and this administration, talking about the Tautona Lodge and the Tautona farm. And the perspective you are bringing today is different from what we've been getting. So on record today, you are saying that Tautona Lodge is a DIS farm.
Mr. Chair, through you again, nekere gore go nne le better clarity, re kgone go follow. This issue is raised in the Auditor General.
Yeah.
Let's deal with the issues that exist or appear on the executive that has other issues, and then this one will come late. Otherwise, we are going to spend too much time on the Tautona Lodge, which will confuse us and not actually help us deal with
Other
the
issues.
report. Yes.
I guess you're okay with that, gentlemen? He's trying to give guidance to say this looks like a very popular issue. We'll have a lot of questions, but it still comes under the Auditor General. So we'll then raise it there. Are you okay?
Sorry.
Mr. Chairman, through you, Chair.
Yes.
Ke ne ke re go ngwa gape se se ka nnang botlhokwa thata ke gore the accounting officer ke lemoga gore o ka re o tsaya nako e ntsi mme a bapale potso tota maikeletso a me ke gore a nne specific to the answer ke gone mo go ka babalelang nako Mr. Chairman re emetse go botsa mme ga e le gore re ka tsamaya ka pace re tlo helela re sa botsa se
I accept your guidance that maybe we should look at it when we are looking at the Auditor General's report. And I will beg your indulgence, Honorable Kgonegile, so that we can defer it to...
Na ke tsela gore he's halfway into his answer. Ya no to abandon it, be re ba re boela ko morago gape ra go e tsweledisa kwa. Ya gore jala nako.
Okay.
Let him complete with his answer. Let's say arabe dipotswana ya ka re buditse. Ha ile gore wa
No, I don't think that's the way to go about it.
Wait, well, I'm in charge. I obviously would weigh what members are saying. It does look like you guys decide, Ramnare and Relestedi. What are you saying? Continue?
No, ke dumalana le Honorable Progolo gore very soon re address the summary.
Okay.
Me happy ke dumalana le Honorable Kgonegile gore potso se buditswe. The accounting officer is halfway.
Yes.
Me ga se yone hela chairman kana. Gore na ne kere a re hetse ka issue ya Tautona farm.
So we will not raise it again at the Auditor
So that we
General.
don't...
It will be done with it. Actually, it's the main issue there.
Me happy, chairman. Let's do justice to these meetings and examinations. Ha ile gore re hella nako e tjha accounting officer asa hetsa ampolo rena ka kwano sa hetsa. Can't we be granted time again gore re tswelele?
On that one, we are so timed because we are going to have 3 weeks compact. So we may not have additional time. So I think I'm convinced by those who say continue with Tautona Lodge. And I have asked a question. I hope you note it. The question is, you are saying on record, on oath, that Tautona Lodge is the DIS farm against what has been said in Parliament several times about it.
Thank you, Mongame. On record, sir, I'm confirming for the Tautona farm is owned by the DIS for operational purpose. As part of government, it's government property, but it's owned by the DIS for operational purpose.
Are you privy to the answers that have been given by different ministers of presidential affairs or state presidents about the use of Tautona Lodge?
I'm very much privy to that, sir.
What would you say to those?
I'm saying this thing today because, Maran, it's been going back and forth more parliament. What I'm trying to do is to set the record straight for Batswana hore ba tlhaloganye hore that place is owned by Botswana government, but e rekilwe ke DIS for the operational use ya yone as the organization.
But are you aware that at some stage it was even suggested that part of the land will be available to the people of Hansi to use as residential plots? Is that part of the use of Tautona Lodge that you know of, or that was just a lie?
I am in a position now to disclose operational issues, which is not the norm. But for the sake of understanding, I feel compelled to disclose the operational purpose of the land. As intelligence, Morena, our duty is to keep the country safe. In our analysis, we have realized that there are certain areas where in the long run, in the next 15 to 20 years, whichever government will be in power at the time, will have a problem. Hansi right now is surrounded by farms. It's a small place. It's a strategic decision that we have the responsibility as intelligence to be able to assist the nation. Today, some countries, people are fighting over land. But we said, are we going to wait until we should have looked at this thing into the future and done something about it. Morena, our intention was to keep on buying farms around that place. Though we had
for operational purposes, you say?
I'm coming there, sir. Though we put this early and operational requirement, it is our responsibility as intelligence to ensure that we safeguard the nation by all means. So today, that was a clandestine operation in the region as the state security. But today, you have stopped that from doing that. 10, 15 years down the line, you'll then realize for it. But so
it was
that opportunity.
Sorry, sir. It was a clandestine operation that, among other things, caused us as members of parliament, in parliament, to be told untruth.
It's not untruth, eh?
No, it's untruth. I mean, at one stage it was the land would be set aside for residential purposes. At other times, it was set aside for research. We were being told half-truth, according to you today.
It's not untruth. That is exactly in line with what we were doing as the state security. That land, anytime when government needs that land, government does not have to go and buy land at a high price. The land is there. We give it to government. It is not the only one. Tomorrow, how would a requirement of land elsewhere? It is like it's for government.
Okay.
Can I chip in?
I know members would want to ask additional questions. I still have a few more to put forward to yourself. So.
Thank you, Chairman. Raliboga re magosi ka dikarabo tsa gago. Bekere I'm a real estate person, I'm a property valuer. Maybe my questions will be related to such. One wonders as to whether, for operational purposes, you need such a big land of 4,000 hectares? That's question one. Two, whether you really needed to have a hotel. Like you say, yes, it's Tautona farm, but it has a hotel there. And I don't remember how the room di kae, maybe di ntsi. Tse eleng gore one wonders gore ano ha gona le hotel mo teng, di room di le dintsi, and as we speak it's open to the public. Motho wa tla hela ba a buka a nna ko a duetse gore tota a kai go tsena batho ba duela ba nna mo teng a purpose ke gore le dire madi ampo mabaka ke eng gore a bjanong batho ba kgona go tsena like any other hotel. And for that matter a re gakologe le gore yanong kana e le ya government e le ya DIS, you're actually competing with the business community, di hotel tse di leng kwa. Se sengwe ke gore yone mehela e kana you can't buy a property of that magnitude. It's a valuiwa. It's a must gore e be valuilwe go itse gore we are getting, you know, more money's worth. Gore a evaluilwe, ha evaluilwe ke bo mang. Because valuation, real estate is a profession like any other profession. You can't, as a government, you can't get motors and engineer this building adire engineering drawings for it. So it should have been valued by a qualified, registered valuer, so that it is actually worth, that property is worth that money. And so, finally, I've passed so I often use that road. I've passed by recently, and at one point it was undergoing very serious renovations. So having been bought at 58 million or so, the renovations that were done thereafter, Dinedi, Costa, Bokai, and what is the occupation rate? Karike hotel in Aldrum Zidinzinzi, and one would not expect or ebe jahela in White Elephant. One would expect that, like any other hotel in Botswana, you could be going at 40% occupational rate, 50, 60, 70 or so. What is the occupation rate? Yeah, so those are my questions, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think you're right. Please, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Negre, on the valuation report, was this property advertised by its previous owner, or it was the DIS taking the initiative and looking at a property to buy? And that might also just, like you were saying, help with the valuation and the price. And then secondly, on the price that was paid, this money initially, because we understand there are slush funds in the DIS, or was this money coming from the slush funds, or it was budgeted for, or you want to buy some land around Khanzi? And how much of that land were you intending to buy? And thank you very much.
I think you should take the two questions, or questions from the two honorables.
Thank you, sir. Mo The question in a valuation and occupation rate. The valuation was done by government, the responsible ministry, by Lens. They have done the valuation.
It was done by who?
By Minister of Lands at that time.
Minister of Lands.
That's what I said.
Just there. Through Chair.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Go ahead, Ramnath.
Yeah. Korionate profession ya real estate ya value. We can have evaluation prepared by ministry, by department. There should be a person who values the property and sign, because responsibility has a value asently. So I would wish to know who actually valued that property. If I, as a valuer, I give a report to banking and ministry and I actually have to sign it and indicate I am a member of real estate council. I'm allowed, permitted to prepare evaluation and sign it. So I don't know whether you would remember the person who actually, the valuer who actually signed the report.
Through you, Chair, it's quite strange that the buyer would be the one valuing. How does the buyer value? It's a million for.
Thank you, sir. The process in place is that any property that we as the DIS procure, the valuation is not done by the DIS. It's referred to the Ministry of Lands. There will be a person who will actually do the valuation and sign. So that information, if I'm given the chance, we could get into the files, get that particular information, and bring it forward. So, it is not us who value. We procure so many things, houses, vehicles, and everything. We don't value. What we do is, we ask for, when as the owner of the property, you give us your value. We take your value to the ministry responsible. They do the evaluation. After that, it's up to the buyer and the seller. Do we negotiate? Are we going down, or we forget about it? So that process has been followed throughout in this farm.
So, there's something wrong here. You are telling us today that there is an evaluation report for Tautona Lodge sitting somewhere at the Ministry of Lands. And if we do ask for it, you shall make it available to us. Is that what you're saying? On record and oath. Thank you very much.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I do confirm that there is a valuation report. If it's required, we'll be able to provide it, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
And then the next one, in the area, the profit. What do you do with the money as and go dealing? We use the money we feed back into the hotel for development. And the rest of the funds, we convert it to our operational use in our operations. And then...
So you are doing business here?
No, sir. Operational activities, not business, madam. Operational activities. In fact, this is one of the things.
So, through you, Chair.
Yes, please.
I just wanted to establish if the operation activities were not budgeted for, now that you get fund from the hotel.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sorry, Kuri, I don't understand here. This is a government department. It's running a hotel. A mandate outside, an activity outside its mandate. And the money does not go to government coffers. It gets into the department coffers. Are you saying that? Is,
Yes,
is it within our public finance management processes and policy in the country?
it is within.
And sorry, sir, through you, Chair.
Yes, please.
Is there anybody who audits this process? How do we know whether they made 10 million or 5 million or how much? Who's in charge?
Yes.
Auditing Mongame,
Manga di arabe di tatagane nyana. Di tatagane nyana.
not justice to the others. Auditing Mongame, since 2018, DIS has been audited annually.
No, this particular property, this particular commercial investment entity, has it been audited? I think that was the question, was it?
Yes, sir.
This
It has been audited as part of the audit that was ongoing in the previous year. Auditor General conducted a full-scale audit. And I made it very, very clear to the Auditor General, you will audit everything. So everything has been audited.
So, Auditor General, yes, we know you audited DIS, but have you audited the operations of Tautona Lodge? Have you audited the operations of Tautona Lodge?
Thank you, Chair. The last audit we did was on the acquisition, which we reported that it was not in the books of government.
Acquisition was not in the books of government.
Yes, we saw them. I mean, it's supposed to appear in statement 18, but it's not in statement 18 as reported.
Mm-hmm.
But,
so you did not audit the operations? Like how much is making, occupancy rate, you then get an idea as to how much money it makes in a week, in a month, in a year?
Those would come in the subsequent years.
Okay, so you are only interested in acquisition?
It was the acquisition at the time.
Okay.
Through you, Chair. Maybe a question should be referred to the Accountant General, whether a government is allowed to run business and money doesn't reach revenue, but it goes in its cover.
But I think, Chairman, your question.
Wait a minute, Munagem, because you say maybe I misdirected the question to the Auditor General, but maybe supposed to be the Accountant General. Accountant General, is this a proper way of running government finances?
Thank you, Chair. Maybe let me start by indicating that all revenue accrued for government goes into the consolidated fund. This is through the government remittance account. And like the Auditor General indicated that we do not have the asset there, Tautona Lodge, in our statement 18, where all assets of government are recorded, whether in the country or outside the country. Therefore, we wouldn't know what is the agency using that for. In event they want to put the revenue into the government coffers, ba gwala chair, ba kopa a revenue vote, and then you will see it in statement 2.
Thank you very much. She wanted to clarify something.
Follow up.
Sorry, she wanted to clarify something, technical support.
I thought you really need to maybe the Ministry of Finance this hotel. Or is it can we say it's an investment and how should I think that should also guide how it should be recorded, because kind of statement 18 would be the assumption or it's operating like a operate a hotel me. I will say we'll get dividends, we'll get what. So clear that so that we know how to account for this.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I agree in terms of how it could be addressed when it comes to accounting. But currently government is on cash basis of accounting. So everything is expensed. This is why her agency regular farm, it will be an asset and it should be contained in the books of accounts as an asset. But we do not have that. Yeah, the technical advice, maybe we need to sit with the agency Radumalana gore, is government going to get any dividends or any revenue? I think it's something that can be done. So we'll arrange with the director. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Diwa, you wanted to
I
follow
was saying if
you wanted to follow it up.
if indeed this hotel or lodge belongs to government, will it be wrong to say maybe money generated from that is in an individual's pocket? Or what will tell us that money was used by government?
Yeah.
Chairman, none of you Chairman, I think that's the deposit more than 20. God, let's give him opportunity to respond. Otherwise, we are going to be all over the place and get confused.
It's a work the right clarification.
The follow-ups as now face.
No, sometimes you need clarification, but you are right. Let's give him a chance. But the last question that has been asked, if money that accrues from the hotel is not going to the accountant general, will it be wrong to assume that maybe it is going to a personal pocket? That was the last rider that we got.
Thank you, Mungami. Answering the last question, the DIAS is open to any audit that will be done. And I can assure you, Mungami, we will be able to account for each and every penny that has been made from the hotel. Bangami, I know it becomes difficult for you to understand. Intelligence is not like any government organization. It's different. It's very, very different.
To Chairman,
It's like your clarity.
Yes, sir.
Honorable Sedi.
Thank you. Nya ne kere gongwe accounting officer a re clarify la gore me aka gompieno ba accountant general ba thalosa go ka auditiwa jang di assets tsa di buang di sa supege gope mo dibukeng tsa ga government ba ka di audita jang a clarify go no.
In addition to that, follow-up, Chairman, sorry, sir, through you.
You know, you are not now offending me, you're offending Honorable Monageng. He's very structured. He wants things to go in a particular way.
We looks like we need more time with this. But I'll tell you, ga gote ga ithagelle gope mo dibukeng tsa governmente yone Tautona farm or lodge lisi ya farm e mo lineng la gamang
mo de la governmente Mongane.
Lisi mo lineng la governmente valuation he dirilwe ke governmente, so I think it will be proper and in order to say that we will request the two. We'll first require what you call the evaluation and then the lease, right? Yes. I think that yes, so we are not going back to evaluation and lease because we will expect them to give them to ourselves. Are you going to give them to ourselves? And within the week? Within the week? Valuation report and the lease.
Evaluate an independent valuer, Chairman. An independent valuer.
That way forward because I think I'm now placing this formal request to yourselves.
A week, sir.
That we shall require the valuation report and then also you said lease, right? The title deed, right? Yeah. We will require those. Will be a week be a reasonable time to
more than enough, sir?
More than enough.
More than enough.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, there are questions that have been asked. Please just go through them.
Thank you, Mongame. Ke tla leka gore ke focus mo tsena buda ke di kwala. Ka tse botle di ntsi me ke tla kopa gore ha ke
you were bombarded, yes, I know. They will remind
you. Ha ke tlola ntse mo teng bangame ke tla gakollo.
Thank you, sir.
Go no buile ka valuation re buile ka yone, go no buile ka di profits ke tsa re buile ka yone.
Di profits ya kere?
Emma.
Okay, so that one the profits ya kere gona le kganya gore it has to be a matter between
As
you
the
and the
tender.
accountant general.
That's right, sir.
But knowing that this asset does not appear on the government books.
Right, sir.
Again,
Thank you, sir.
thank you very much.
And then e nngwe le le ya method of payment or e duetswe yang. Ga e duelwa ka tsela epe e ko ntle ga the normal procurement e dirang e re dirang ka yone. Re setse morago tsamaiso yotlhe ya procurement up to the payment where the GPO was given to the seller. So tsamaiso yotlhe mongame.
E dirile, ga la duela ka orange money.
No. E dirile mongame e teng. Ha e tlhokagala le yone, we will be able to provide all that information.
I think we need it.
Please, we will need it. So through you, Chair.
Yeah.
We will need it.
I think we'll
Yeah.
need it, sir.
We will need it because
we will do
how can the accountant general say the process or this thing is not moved bukeng tsa gagwe? Accountant general told us himself gore le ene o bone mo dipampiring gore technology e rekilwe jang. How were they able to generate a GPO outside of government system? Every GPO that is produced within government must be known by the accountant general. Ke ga ke tlhaloganya gore re magosi o ra jang gare a GPO kana bana le ya bone ya COVID secret.
It will be provided. Rest assured, Mongame, we will give you all the information, Mongame.
Yes.
Rest assured. I promise you that.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Secretary, please note down the
Chair, if you
documents
allow me.
that we shall require from the DIS. They are getting too many, we may forget some of them.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I wanted to clarify something, Hori. The purchase, like I said, all purchases that happen in government, that are done through either a GPO, a contract, and then a payment voucher is raised. So like the DG was saying, Hori, in this case, they raised a GPO, they raised a payment voucher, which comes through our office. All the payment vouchers, there is a process that is followed to check for a media attachment to the didule. But what the Auditor General is querying is higher account there, because expectation is that if the DG knows this is an asset that is going to form part of Statement 18, they need to inform the Accountant General. Otherwise, it will be recorded just like any other expense. I wanted to clarify that, sir.
No, but what we have not clarified is that, so do we have a payment voucher for this one?
Yes, sir, we do.
You have a payment voucher for Tautona Lodge?
Tautona Farms.
Yes, sir, we do. I think even
I know the difference.
So we do, and the Auditor General, I think they will vouch because like Rishi indicated earlier, they went to audit the acquisition. So obviously that would form part of the evidence that they had. Thank you.
Okay, all right, that's fine. So the payment voucher as well could come so that we also look at it. Yes, go ahead, DG.
Thank you, Mongame. The next question in the vetting or acting person said in the water to the DIS. Mongame.
Vetting?
No,
vetting.
No, before then, still on the purchase, who initiated the purchase process? Was it advertised or DIS actually made the first move?
No, sir, it was not advertised, but we found a way to get to the seller out of the interests that we had.
Oh, you found a way to get to the seller?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
That's all I'm
yes, there are other questions, yes.
So,
you are the one who said let him answer the question. So we will not allow you to interject. You are going to wait, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mongame. The other question there, acting person said, how we do about the DIS VETA. DIS has been given the responsibility to do vetting.
You are now on tenders?
No, sir. Acting positions.
Or recruitment?
No,
or lihira jang?
It's in Gorona. Ya Gorona yetla. Ena inere. Mo mapete a government go na le bo acting position ba bantsi ha me ro wa botsa bo gote DIS ke yona sentseng e VETA.
Okay.
Ke a re le mongane. So on this one, sir, DS has been given the responsibility to do vetting. And when we vet,
I guess you are done with you are done with questions related to
To Tautona, sir.
Tautona laws.
I believe so.
I thought there were quite a number of questions that were asked. If you feel your question has not been answered, Remuneration, I know you are also into business of real estate. Some may think that you have conflict of interest, but go ahead. You are given permission.
No, just a reminder.
Conflict of
Mr.
interest
Chairman.
would not exist
So
here.
we shall benefit from your professional.
Actually, re na le lawyer hana ha re timela o re neela tsela legally, and as a property valuer, there would not be any conflict. It's actually to guide where possible. I think one of the things we sa di tlhalosang thata Re Magosi, like the occupation rate. Le gore gore keng ele kana ka no bua DIS right or especially irleng but anong ha ile gore property ya DIS go tsena mongwe le mongwe ke yone tota se ne ke se botsa gape kgantele so occupation rate le gore tota keng buletse mongwe le mongwe gongwe le additionally hela gore who bears the cost ya di salaries gore aka go hirile batho yana a ke lona DIS le ba duelang ampanong ba tsena mo netane ya government ya ba bereki. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, Leah DG. I mean, when I was talking about the source of payment, my main interest in Lemoring, Khali Duela, was this an acquisition that was budgeted for? Was there money specific to acquire property of that nature? Or, from what we hear, some funds, slash funds, was it part of that or in a budgeted? Would the record show prior to the acquisition, and how much was the budget? You can actually afford to buy a property one at 58 million. Thank you.
Mikey.
Can you answer the ones that?
Yeah, nekera heleletse tsa Tautona lodge.
No, what are you heleletsa tsa gago?
No, ke follow up mo go tsene di bodiso ke batetegi. Ba ne ba supile ba boditse gore gongwe go tlhalosiwa gore ka go lebega go no gona le dingwe ya ka diphologolo le dikgomo le ditau. A tlhalose gore di ka.
Thank you, sir.
Nna ke kopa go gakolla Chairman.
Wa gakolla yana?
Me ke gakolle gore mogolle Ramagosi. Re motsa diposo tse dintsi me ga kwale. Kana o tlo na confuse keng mothusi wa gago go a sa kwale dipotso tse a bana gore o arabile wa e ga wiso ya. Otherwise a ka ne ke bua the way we are going e kare re ha Millennium Jazz Restaurant era re iketile nyana a go kwalele ka re dipotso di ntsi. Thank you, Chairman.
Go ngwe monna intelligence o khona go tshwara dilo se. O mo lemogile gore ga o kwale le wena right wa kwala ke ra
Ba record.
o tshwangwa ke dilo tse di sa tshwenyeng banna ba intelligence o ra rongwa ba na le di-gadgets but again they can also go listen to this more Parliament Facebook and pick other things that they have missed. But Helen Miano, for purposes of answering the questions, really they must record so that they can answer the questions. Pani ba buditse tsa motaleletsa ke re ready ready to di arabe raiso.
Thank you, Mungami. Mungami ha ona a buile ka gore diphologolo tse di mo teng di le ko kae. Ka tsimola ka ga Mungami hati. Ha re buisana le monga plus ne rata plus mme a ba re diphologolo tse di mo teng ga ke di rekise mme ke di tlogala mo le tla di tsaya ke sa government. Diphologolo tseo mongame di a balwa ke ba wildlife. Ke tlogoletse bone ba itse gore di ntse mo teng. E ne budwa ke rra mo nageng. E ne le ya nkgakolla mongame.
Kore ha o kwa le wa bona DG yana. Bona hore
Ke ne ke
ha
itse
ke
ke
go
araba
wa
rra
intelligence
mongame.
ka ntse o tsamaya o lebala.
No se ne ke tsore ke araba rra mo nageng. Ke ne ke kopa gore ha bogolo ba botsa ke kopa gore ke yona go ha ba babedi ke be ke ba araba. Ka ha bana ba ntsi ke ne ke sa kwala tsele ke be ke a letsa dingwe so ne ke kopa gore ha mogolo nkgakolotse e ratse latelang ke be ke hiwa chance ya gore go botsa ba bogolo ba babedi ke be ke ba araba mongane.
All right.
Yeah.
Re mo nageng.
Point of order, Chair.
Yes, sir.
O itse re go ha re tlo go tsaya nako.
Yes.
Re tlo go tsaya nako. Go bata yanong re thatosa maoto. Ke eng re sa riana. A re mo he chance ya go araba tsa di kwadileng. Ha go setse sengwe re ta mmotsa because Jan is coming back and forth and we are not being productive.
No, I hear you, but re ta bona gore ha sena go di araba tsone tseo. Go ka tswalwa go tsa jang, that shall be my call, right? Right.
In earlier, okay, me kana ke botsela boraro yana. Occupation rate, occupation rate le tsentsarla che.
No ka no atatsela ba diesa ba robala teng ba duela.
Occupation rate le gore ke eng e buletswe setšhaba le gore renovation e nile bokae after sena go rekiwa le gore babereki ba duelwa ke mang wona ha le di kwadile ha le to go lebala se nya o ba pileng le a ke ga batle kwana batla go bolela o ba pileng wena a kwala ba ntsa gore ye le ye ka re we are serious here.
Thank you, sir. Occupation rate, I would not be in a position to give the specifics. Mehala, I would say comfortably say, Mongani, the occupation rate should be general with the other hotels, Mohanzi. What we would then do, we can go back, get the information, and provide it within the next 7 days. The other information we have now actually dug into the operational part. There was a reason why it was a shaba. So, to move so deep into the operations.
Yeah.
If I may allow, sir.
Slash funds budgeting, you did ask around that. Are you able to relate to his question?
The payment slash fund the normal government procedure.
No, that's not the question now. The question is the acquisition, was it ever budgeted for, or it was by the way at some point?
Thank you, Mangami. It was budgeted for. Every financial year we come up with our requirements. There was a budget, there was a requirement for accommodation. Now, when you say accommodation, it can be office accommodation, it can be residential accommodation, it can be accommodation as such as this hotel. We would not be saying, I need accommodation for housing Balikana and all that. We put it as accommodation estimated this amount. So therefore, because of that, Mangami, yes, it was budgeted for, sir.
Okay. Now, maybe the last questions. You have indicated that the hotel or the farm, by the way, was bought for operational purposes. In the same vein, you talk about national strategic interest around land. Was this farm bought for operational purposes or for national strategic interests? That must come very clean, because in there is located a very big contradiction. If it's operational, now also national strategic. I think that must be reconciled and be aligned, number one. Number two, A lot has been said about Tautona Lodge, particularly in Parliament. Ministers, present and past, have attempted to answer questions around Tautona Lodge. Are you saying today that all explanations that have been given by ministers, present and past, all those explanations today in this examination fall out? They were not true, they were all false. I want you to come clean on it, because today you have indicated that this farm was procured for operational purposes, though you also include national interest purposes. So please, the two, if you could help me appreciate them.
Thank
Because
you, Moami.
maybe there's been a lot of lying going on in Parliament.
Thank you, Moami. All the answers that were given in the past co-parliament, they were true. Procurement of any strategic issue, there are two reasons: national strategic interest, organizational interests.
Operational.
Which is organizational interest, which is operational. So all the answers that were given in co-parliament, they were given under the auspices here, the national interests. That's why they are not wrong. As we speak, Mangami, right now, after the discomfort of Bangarnoko Parliamenting, after the procurement of Tautona Lodge, we have procured yet another farm.
Yet another farm?
Yet another farm.
With a lodge?
No, say.
No lodge this time?
Without a lodge. We have procured yet another farm. We are looking at the strategic interests. The operational interests will plug it in, but those you cannot disconnect, Mongami. There's a strategic and the operational. So what we had to do was to do things in such a way that it will not cause a lot of discomfort. More Bozadi Maro Nago Parliamente. We then spoke to Minister of Land to say, Minister of Land, we are very much interested in that particular place. Therefore, can you do the procurement on our behalf? We have done that. The farm has just been handed over to us a few months back.
So this one, the new one has been procured by Minister of Lands?
Exactly, sir.
Or which I think is the proper.
No, it was procured by Minister of Land on our behalf.
Yes.
That's right, sir.
And for Tautona Farm, it was a different method.
It was a different method. This is why we have decided that let's go this way so that it does not cause a lot of discomfort.
Yes, there has been a lot of discomfort around
Exactly, sir.
Tautona Lodge.
That's right. Nkile ka kopa my minister. Ke mo kopa bara ne re kopa re refuse lot. Re tle go nangola what is intelligence to botsadi ba rona parliament. I wish you could be given that opportunity. It will assist us a lot to understand why intelligence is doing things the way it's doing. What is the most important thing, Morana, is to account.
Yes, but you see, people can also hide behind intelligence to do corrupt activities. It's very possible. And that is why people get worried.
Exactly, sir. But but you cannot help us if you don't understand what you're doing. And explain it will help us a lot moving forward. Right now, I on record say, because of the questions because of the way written look at it, in the next few years, this country will have a problem.
Yeah, I think we are moving away from it. I've heard you. You said you want a slot where you'll address members of parliament about intelligence. I will obviously be talking to the speaker. Ankise khosing ya go oversight intelligence agency. Gore ke ira ha ke oversight o ke rutegile. Basically, that is what you are saying. Ke ta bua le speaker ora a kware he khosi ya ka ora ha what we can repeat there is intelligence to do corrupt activities. But anyway, I think let's close Tautona Lodge. We close it saying we would expect you to deliver documents. Are they delivered to you, Mamlifi?
Those relating to payment is on Kosiame. What are about this the valuation and the title and the lease here?
Yeah. So the valuation and the title should be with her office within a week, which you said even tomorrow you can bring it. Thank you very much.
Modular steel.
Procedure, Mr. Chair.
Auditor General.
Thank you, Chair. I wanted to share with the committee that, as the DG has alluded earlier, we have audited the DIS, and as I also stated earlier that we audited the acquisition. We have a report for the audit that we conducted, the last one that we conducted. It has details on the farm. Some of the members were mentioning the animals and the hotel inside that has such findings. And we did not include it as part of the AG's report because we considered that to be confidential, and we were trying to comply with Section 21 of the Public Audit Act. And we had hoped that the Parliamentary Committee on Intelligence and Oversight would be operational so that we can go and share such with the committee. So we do have a report that has details on the farm that is not part of the public report, and the AG determined that it should be presented separately.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Auditor General. I think we should move on to other issues because we have been bogged down into the issue of Tautona Lodge, and I think it was worthy of being canvassed at this length because it's an issue of concern to members of the public. Honorable Lesedi.
Yes, sir.
You are not on Tautona Lodge, right?
Mr. Chairman, yeah, ke batla go botsa tse di seng. Ke lemegile gore ha re botsa ka tsela e re botsang ka yone, dipotso tse dintsi di tla togelwa di sa arabiwa.
No, they come here.
Nya ne ke re gongwe pele ke botse DG gore gongwe le galo setsa le kile go yama mme ma ke heta ka yone. Tota gona gate what is DIS? Gongwe go tlhalose gore DIS ke mme a le gore o ka re mo dikarabong tsa go araba wa supa gore ke sengwe se leng gore se sireletsa lehatshe gongwe o re bolella gore a me o dumela gore lehatshe le la Botswana with DIS a le safe.
Una makinele rapologolo ba piele nna ya no nna nkubetsa ya. Right.
O monela ka yo ne.
Me a kere go ne gona le dipotso ne ke tse botsa re ke kgonegile on the side gore go ne gona le dipotso tse na di buditse ke za gore DG ka gore ga kwale mme o ka re wa kwala yang. Go ntse go nna botoka. E ona a buditse dipotso di le mmalwanyana ke tsora wa di gakologelo tse na botsa gore na le hira jang ka ba ka utwa ke nna uncomfortable hare ba bangwe ba na ba ga isa ka go kgaratha ba hirilwe ba le ga ba dira sente mo botshelo re nya o di arabe tsote le ya ga re phologolo
nya ga ke ske hetse
asu hetse wa simolo
so rinya ke a tsena
wa tsena
nya mme ma ke super gore potso e tabela tela kere a me accounting officer o re solohetsa eng ke batla gore a nne very clear gore o re solohetsa eng ka gore gongwe mo pusong e hitileng re bonya kgokgontsha lehatshe ka tsela e tsitsibanyang mmele a re tswelle re solohetse go bona botshelo jo neng a re tshedisa ka jone mo nakong e hitileng kana le gale gompieno ta ipaakanya gongwe potso ya bohelo e ke eletsang gore gongwe a re tlhalose
obvious statement so loaded
Oh.
Rona go gontsha le hatse thata. Bona le dikai ka mapedi hela.
O nya di teng se.
Ke ra mo gakolola.
Di teng.
Ka go gontsho ya gagwe.
Di teng se.
Ere.
Gongwe le ha bone tiro ya bone ka ra ya raba ya ma gore o ka tshwara. Mme how share information ke ya go kgontshong yana how share information e setseng e shareilwe already kana we forward hela gone mo ne le sengwe sa dilo tsa dumelang gore di tshosetsa security sa lahatsi ke sengwe sa dikai
Ora ya me ga re matoti.
ya honorable Matoti
Tsa mawe loba.
nya wa itse ke ra gore
Ke ska isanta.
ke ska isanta ska isa bobedi tota go gontsi gongwe ke go tshwarwa ga ba neng ba tshwarwa mme a re ko phelelong ya letsatsi ra ithelela gore dikgang tsotlhe tsa ba neng ba tshwarwa ga di court ebile ko phelelong ya letsatsi ga di nne le bope bosupi
Ora Dr. Maseka. Ku ka rwa go rwa le mo sekiri ya bitso.
Bo butterfly.
nya ba bantsi ka nna Dr. Matseka e ka nna ka bo jaaka nne re bona gongwe bo butterfly and bo tshekedi kgama ba bantsi ke ra gore go phelong ya letsatsi a gona space se se dule ya bohelo makere go na le menahuna a kwa a re thatswetse gore a menahuna ya gore bangwe hela mo setšhabeng e kane le babereki bangwe ba puso kana ba maphata ya la sela ikemetseng ba na le kamano le DIS mo e leng gore ba mogela ka payroll ya DIS gongwe sengwe sa dilo tsa kwa re di thatswetse because setse re tshabana gore a maakele ha yana bangwe ba nka gore ke le DIS. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes. Make we na ke tla itebaganya le dintlha di le pedi. Accountability. Yes, I'm from the executive summary. Le welfare. I'll start with welfare. Eneng bua ke Ramagosi. Onare re sologele go bona a lot of cases ke tsa ke re ora tsa babereki ba itela ha pele ga makgotla. So the first thing that comes to mind ke gore goha DIS, do they comply? Do they follow the same rules and laws? Tse mongwe le mongwe a di sala morago. Tse di tshwanang le bo tsa bo employment. Do they follow melao e appear mo Public Service Act? A mid case on it. Are they not as a result they are DIS leadership e kgokontsha kapo e sa reetse kapo e sa follow tsamaiso ya phiro ya melao ya phiro? That is one. Go tsong ho ye nngwe ya bobedi, like I was saying, ke ya salaries. Ke tsa kere when people are interdicted from work, they continue to draw their salaries in full. Or in the event where DIS yone ikile ya tima bangwe madi ele babereki, what are the remedial action that you are going to take? And there's an issue as a charge that appears in the Public Service Act. In most cases, it hits hard on junior officers. Sometimes somebody in an accounting position will take decisions that at the end, simply because they believe it's not their money. Excessive amounts of money. But an action an accounting officer is my labor. Does DIS have incidents where Leone has taken those decisions? And have they ever settled some of these matters outside court because they were on the wrong side of the law? On the issue of accountability, you mentioned some of the committees or agencies, I don't know what to call them, that you account to. Question will be, are these really active committees? Because not only the parliamentary committee is non-existent, but adite. And how often do you engage with them? And how are the engagements conducted? Are you as a unit or as an agency make a call and say, Lona CIC, we need to sit down and you look at how we do our operations? Or they have the little powers where they can summon you to come and account. So those are the two. And then on a closing one, the role of the DIS. As much as you the public seem to believe or overlap on top of the overreach. Overlap and what are you doing as an agency to stick to your lane and not go into lane engwe? It is not your mandate to do so. Public confidence. DIS seem to have lost confidence here, the public. How much of the money that you get or you budget for is intended to try and bring the public into accepting gore le dira wrong way? Because the reality is you've lost the goodwill of the public. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Nekere Udi Arabe, litigation. Agitura o ka tsona le go peha o ka go bonang. Ha o ka re thusang gore mme madi a hetse la duetse la duela ka gore la sekisiwa. A ka tsamaga kae? Ka o itha go ntse o nya ba se ka go tsala le duelo ya ka attorney general. Mme la ke re ha ile go o na le lesedi la gore madi ao a ka nna bukahi ya hetse la duetse maybe in the last year or the last 2 years. Thank you very much. You can take the questions of the three honorables.
Thank you, Mangame. Neke kopa yana se gore ha ke sna go araba dipotso tsa bangame. Ke letlello ke bua le go tse di komarago tse sa reng ke di kwadile. Gore ke le tsone tsotlhe se.
All right, that's
Thank
fine.
you, Mangame.
That's fine.
Yes, sir. Mangame ke da simola ka accountability. I believe gore the fact that I, as accounting officer, took a deliberate decision to say, I want us to be audited. It is because we wanted to ensure that our accountability is in line. In terms of confidence having been eroded from the public, I believe we continuously do as much as we can to redeem ourselves out of that by so many ways as we engage with the public. In terms of people who litigate against the organization, bana ba rona mongwe le mongwe o na le the constitutional right gore a ye go ikuela. We have had a situation where our officers, Baba numbers are from the government security, but I took over in 2018. I sat down with my legal advisor and gave my legal advisor my opinion. They are right. And therefore, we are going to agree. We went to the tribunal, which is one of the oversights, and we told the tribunal, we do agree with the grievances, and therefore we are going to pay them. The second one, in Elia Bana Baba Nimbari.
Bana ba ora madi a se la bana ba tona.
a ke re ke ba gona ke mo re ka re ka ra bone
Nyale ke batla go clarify ka
yes sir
bana bana.
manya ke ra bo officer mongame now the second one in le ya bo officer ba ba neng ba re go ntse le judgment in the past against government e lo re ya affecta me if I remember go no go na le another request e neng ke fila gore ga e mo tsamaisong ga re dumana le yona re le bogogi so ne re na tsele la gente ya bone ra re ha re dumana le lona mme ha ga re dumalane however le khona gore le go ikuela ko pele so what I'm trying to say here go re engagement has been there le bana ba ba na le grievances gona le bana ba ileng gore ba dirile the grievance
I'm uncomfortable with Bana.
I think it's overused.
I'm uncomfortable with Bana.
okay
Can we
I'm sorry sir let me withdraw my statement the officers ba ileng gore gompieno ba na le grievances ba ile ko go tsasekelo mona ka gompieno re were busy assessing gore a re dumalana le bona re le bogogi a ba re dumalane mme a re sa dumalaneng teng re tlile go nna tsele agente a bona gore nya mme ga re dumalane re ka mpara ko pele so in that case mongame ke le ka go supa gore accountability teng we try that by all means where we could have erred we will admit what we've erred and we will say having erred here we found a solution we will move ahead ka solution morena so in that way ke dumela gore accountability ta le yone mongame mara o ile ka issues of surcharge where a person is surcharged we make sure that we follow the laid down procedures as much as possible. I'm not saying because as but when we make a mistake, we'll be quick to admit to no hali Mehala, any such charge according to the laid down procedures in government. Suspension, but to borrow any more suspension, and they're supposed to be suspended on pay. That has always happened. The only thing that does not happen,
And time.
and time. Exactly. We have erred in the past in terms of time. And we acknowledge that. And we have seen what towards that. Now, on the issue of the payment, Morena, who was put on suspension aba a loser his or her pay. However, the Act stipulates clearly you will not be paid overtime allowance. How much suspension because how to rate? That is the only one area where we have had arguments with some of the officers. Baba Nembarma suspension and Bobar. No. Nike Dumala suspension, you should give me overtime allowance. And the process in place is that you do not qualify for overtime allowance. How do you suspension? That is the one area some of the officers. Baba Filan they must get it, sir. And then the other one, nearly, I believe, employment in the courts. The grievances accountability okay in the subheading yet no di wile mongame ke be ke ya go go tsa ga mongame hadi
mo ame ha lo ra na bo lesedi
yes sir
yeah
mongame a re tsedi ona buile ka one in a hore a dia se ya go gontsha what are you doing about it ma sir
ya ne ke le DIS o tlhalosa gore DIS ke eng
that's right sir uno putsanta no re DIS ke eng is Botswana safe e botsana ya gore idea se e ruthless e botsana gore social information e share mo social media a ke molato apparently go na le allegation ya gore batho ba se members of the DIS ba mo phero ya DIS ya ntlha mo ngambe gore DIS ke le kalana la ga government le le hilo maikarabelo a tshireletso ya lehatshe ya bobedi be nna gore a DIS ya kgokgontsha ke dumela le wena morena e kile ya bo kgokgontsha e ne e le dilo dingwe tse go tlile nna kwa gore ke di kgaleme ke le moetapele go ne ga ema mara ga gompieno ga ke dumele ga go na le mongwe o pa motswana yo o santseng a ka tla ko pele ga molao wa re ke ne ke kgontshiwa ke DIS diphoso di diragetse morena in the past and we acknowledge maybe ke tse re kgato e leng gore gompieno bangwe ba diraga ba na beta dilo tseo ba ile ba kgotlatshekelo ke re le lona le the constitutional right to go itsheka mme hela ke emaga e nngwe ya
So they dira dilo tse without your knowledge.
ba ne ba dira dilo tse without my exactly
Ne ba dira dilo tse wena o sa itse.
they would come to my knowledge after this na go diragala ke be ke kgalema to the point e ke reng ha ke sa kgalema ke za kgato they are all on suspension those officers aha information e phasiwa ke nna ke etsa go go yo le mo social media be ya kwa ke molato ga ke dumele gore wa bo le molato mongame ha o dira yalo mme go ka re thusa mo tlhotlhomisong gore ka o kile ya tsana mo go ena e re thusa gore re tswa kwa rakwa re ka tla go wena re ta go batla go itse gore o etsa go kae e tle jang go wena e le tlhotlhomiso act e le tla le patala di esa gore le ka tlhotlhomisa so ya be go diragala e le ka ha molao o re tsamaisang o re hidden tla ya gore ka dira jalo mme bothata bo tswa mo go ene yo tlang go go wena boitshwaro ba gagwe ke gone e nna bothata gone go ke dingwe tsa dilo tse ke reng ke diphoso tse di diragetseng ko morago mme ka go sologetsa mongame ga bona go diragala go mo ka gore ke tsere kgato e maleba ebile go a go pele o tla bona lephata le batswana ba simolola go lemoga lephata le le botlhokwa mo go bone
Go hacking ke bontsha bongwe ja gore karo ya no puso e changeile o ke lona hela ne la bona go thokala gore le change kana go utwe ke to kare ya no wa go pele re ta tsa mari tumetse re sotegile go lekane a ya no gore puso e ntšha kgotsa go dirwa ke
nya mongame ga se puso e ntšha ke re le ha re iteballa go tswa go morago even pele ga puso e ntšha e tsena ne re se re tsere kgato go le go tle to the point e leng gore re itse re tshwetso ya gore ga gona go diragala yalo so ke maiteko a ra dirileng not because puso change le mongame it was as a way of improvement of our service delivery mongame ke tsa gore ne tsone tsa kere ampo gona le se tsongo mara go se
enya me gona le setseng through chair ne ke re lo re tlhalosetse gore itshireletsego ya lehatshe e teng go le kanang ka gongwe o ka heta ka eneo
thank you mongame se nka go se tsholetsa morena ko gore lehatshe le sireletsegile tshireletso ya lehatshe go na le mo go teng hard security and soft security hard security ke seemo se go na le borukgutlhi bo eteletseng tiriso ya dikgoka mo go teng di-armed robberies go na le terrorism mme be re lebela gape ko go soft security ke the petty crime e diragalang mo meseng mo toropong e leng gore go bokete gore o tswe mo lapeng la gago o ye ko lapeng le lengwe mo bosigong o sa tshoga. Go na le dikgang tsa gore bogodu ba leruo bo santse bo le teng. Ke soft security that has got an impact on the day-to-day lives tsa Batswana. Go na le soft security ya batho ba ditiro. Go na le soft security ya makebetso ne tseo e le dikai tsa that are parallel between hard and soft security. Yeah, on the issues of hard security, you can never acquire it 100%. That's why le ha se le tshwana le ba America le go tsang gore ba go dimo thata mo itshireletsong go diragetse di kgang tsa terrorism go bone. Security is an evolving phenomenon. We have to work round the clock, keep on doing assessment and putting in place measures that will mitigate against those areas of security. So kabukusane ngare mongame la se le seretsegile. Ke ne ke kopa gore bangame ke boele go go tse sa di buditswe.
No, through the chair. There is the last one. Ne ke re lo go ngota era ba ya batho ba ba duela e se ba gagwe gongwe le nna ke teke mo atumele gongwe a ntsenye ko payrollong ya gagwe.
Mongame mota intshwara go re ke dirile phoso mme ke utlwe ke e bala mo go tse dingwe tse le intshwara le mongame. Mongame I cannot what is the right word? I cannot deny or acknowledge. Thank you, sir. I cannot deny or acknowledge Mongame. Thank you, sir.
Among others are o ka re ha o tsamaya o hirela mo dikgang tse di sa go ameng we arabele yone.
Makidi ba ke tswa ile mo go tsene ke di kwadile ke opare ke re tsona hape rena ke kgakolle recruitment parliamentary committee finance
a somebody kgakolla channel no gona le engwe ne ke re a gone menne le tlhoka such a huge property ile yone ya 4,000 hectares.
Are boele ko ga re sa thola re a teng ko Oscar wa ya raba yo.
Yes, sir. Tsene di go morago Mongame ne le recruitment criteria parliamentary committee ke tsa rone the parliamentary committee ne e botsa gore teng committee ke di fa di ha bereka. Financing back pay of the members, participation of theirs in elections, vetting what another Tautona lodge le farm di tender. So ke go para bangame ke tsa ke tele tsone jalo ha ke sa khotsa teng ke beng ka budwa gape potso a ntlha ne le recruitment criteria le kwala la dia se gale le pharologanyo le makala mangwe re kgona gore re ira motho ka re ke le godu without another qualification ka re ke le godu
le kgona mo hirela gore wa utswa
re kgona mo hirela gore wa utswa. That complements the activities tsa ditiro tsa rona tsa sephiri.
Gape ska tsena thata mo makeng. Yes.
That is part of the criteria tse re tlhokang to build certain specialities within the DIS. It is now calling for me to get into the operational side, which I'm very uncomfortable with. Me, ke ne ke ha ile example le gore e re ha ke ya go pele e be rena le tlhaloganyo ya gore re kgona go hira ka tsela ntse ya
yo re utulwa re kgona go hira motho ka gore ke le godu
emma
ga o tshabele gona gore o ta le senyetsa.
No, sir.
Le siamehela.
Re siamela mongame.
Okay.
And the criteria e re ntse re dirisa go tswa ko morago go tla go tsena ha re leng teng re ne re tlogela the decision making ya go hira to 3 people. We're not using the committee. Ne re dirisa the DG, the deputy DG, and the deputy DG. Throughout. There was a reason why re gone go ntse jalo. Mo gompienong, we have moved back to say we are going to now create the committee. Another committee ya piro, another committee ya promotion, another committee. They're already in place. So it's the
So
in the past,
yeah.
the decision ya gore re tsa mang yo mo dira tiro e ne e le the responsibility ya 3 people in the organization. There was the DG, the deputy DG, and the deputy DG. Go ne go na le mabaka, operational and security reasons why that was done. Now that re kgonne go solve bothata bo bo neng bo le teng bo, we then said now is time we can be able to start the committee tse le gore as we speak di setse di simolotse go nna in place mongane.
Kore a ke tsora wa arabega kore a kere motho o hirwa a apply tiro ka gore gongwe na e bona ya advertise ya go gongwe yaanong lona yone committee yone e tabo e re e tsoma batho kgotsa ya reng gore batho ba itse le ba ko bobonong ba ko bojango gore nyame go a hirwa go DIS.
Committee e mongame ga e tsome batho ba dira mokwalo ba apply. Ha ba apply re tsenya into the database ka nako e re tla beng re batla go hira re lebella pele mo database re batla motho wa moagi re batla motho wa di science and all that re ha bone ba priority ba re
ba itse jang gore go apply yo gore a ke re batla gore le ba ko maung ko a tswang teng ba itse gore go na le ko DIS e apply-lwang teng kgotsa DIS e amogela di-application malatsi otlhe ha e le di amogela malatsi otlhe o kwalela director general o go na le website o go na le how do people get to know ba gantsi e le ba bangwe gore DIS yaanong ya hira ebe kgotsa ya apply-elwa
mo gompieno mongame ya ka utlwa ke re pele no application eo ne re lebella gore re tlhoka which specialty headhunt the right people for that. Mo gompieno we are launching a website, I think. Can you, Robert? We are launching a website end of this month. E leng gore ka nako e o tabang go hirwa go tatso mo website gore di a se a hira. So potso e ne ke araba ngame ke ne ke arabe ke sa gore ke potso e boletsong ko morago gore what was the criteria ke ne ke le ka go focus ko go leo. But now moving forward we have now started a different strategy ya gore we will have the committees, we will have the website e tla go communicate le batsona ka yone ke tsa gore ke arabile mongame nka tswela se
o ka tswela ke utile gore yaanong bana ba ko Ncamasere ba ka bona mo website gore DIS e talk about gore ka ha bontse ka te piro e diragetseng ko morago ine gongwe attractile hela bao ba bane ba na le information otherwise ba bangwe they were excluded. Mme kana gongwe go na le mathale a mangwe a ka go thusang ba bangwe le mathale a go thuwa matu a batho a ke rukana wa hira gona go hira magodu a thuwa matu a batho le ba bangwe hela gongwe ba teng ko bo gone ko bo Bob City.
Potso engwe mongame ne le ya back pays of members of the organization. Ka ke tlhaloganyang potso ya ka teng mongame ke gore batho ba some of the officers within the organization ba reng are qualified as a finance officer, as an example, 2 years ago. Me mo gompienong ke kopa gore ya ka ke tabe ke tsengwa in the finance department ya organization
No. Sorry, Chair.
Thank you, sir. Me e rega ka tabeng ke tsengwa mo maikarabelong a ke na le tumelo ya gore ke sale ke simolotse tiro eo ka nako ya gore ko morago. We have had such instance, and if I remember well, the people were paid madi a bone. That thing is actually more clear, more baneng ba the colonial controlling ya gore they must be taken to C1 scale. When the payment in the back pay tsa bone. Ga ke itse gore a ke arabile mongame go nna botsa ka di back pay. Am I on track on that one, sir?
O ne a botsa ka
issue ya di back pay. There was a question ya di back pay mo go tse ko morago tsele.
Just ke kgonegile just go now.
Participation of DS mo ditlhophong. DS as part of the government organizations, there's no way it can participate. The problem is how does it participate? If it participates in an unethical manner, it is wrong. But if it participates as part of the government security organizations of Botswana, ga ke bone go le phoso go ba ngane.
E kore a kry yone ne tshwenya ka gore bone the current government ha ba le mo opposition ba ne ba go supa ka monwana gore you are meddling le dithopo tsa Botswana to the extent that even server yone keep and voters roll you have access to it and a kitore a mme go nnete gore o na le access to server le tse dingwe tse e leng gore di ka go neela access to the voters roll. That was very worrying. I still think it's very worrying up to today. Gore ha ile gore mme o ka kgona gore wena o na le dilo tsa voters roll e kana o ka dira di agamatsa.
Mongame, certain things ke di perceptions. Mme kana re bua lwa ke lona le banga rona. Ha go na le perception wena o le mongame o tla go nna right go na le khankie ke araba ke re. Ke sentse gore ke nne le ba maruri ke go he karabo o bo ka go nkarabela. Nna ke le mo dira puso mongame ga ke na le hoko ga ke gone go ipuelela boa maruri ke gore that is not correct sir ga se go dira gale ke di perceptions ya le mongame. Thank you sir. The tender
Ore yone yo
Just right up please.
kore potso e rela gore government of the day ha go tla go tsena ditlhopho a le sekegela kore are you aiding it gore e wina ditlhopho mpo tota le dira tiro a lona le se biased le sa support gore let's say UDC ha re a ditlhophong ka 2029 a le dira tiro a lona le sa re kana patientsi busa metswelele ke rela gore in the past a no go sa thusiwe BDP government.
I cannot deny or accept that, Moreno.
It's dangerous.
Operational issues. What I can confidently tell you, during my tenure as the DG, that has never taken place. Never. We do our job as intelligence. We don't during my tenure, I can accept when that has never happened. Before me, I cannot answer for it, Moreno.
Yeah, but do you give intelligence information to sitting presidents on issues pertaining to elections, for instance?
If you go to my act, sir, it says I'm responsible as the DIS. I'm responsible for national security, economic, political, and military. We act as according to the act. Anything that we may be doing within the political landscape is done according to the Act strictly that we say. Thank you, Ngame.
I have asked a question. The question is, do you give intelligence information to sitting presidents of the time? Information on elections and how they are likely to go, who is likely to win and who is influencing the direction of the elections at a particular point in time. Do you give that intelligence information to them? Because if you do that, you are also giving intelligence information to their political parties. That is why I'm asking this question and insisting on it.
So we give information on issues that can affect the stability of the country or national security, period. Not for a no. Any activity that we deem to be a probable cause for instability within the country, it is our responsibility to do assessment and report to the president that we foresee this situation and we get guidance from that. And it is not only us who do that. All the three security organizations, we all do that. The police do that, the BDF does that, we do that.
Happy Chairman.
Here.
Kore, hela ka ne mongwe a botsa gore tota media ya se e dirang thata yana. O motho o ka botsa gore kore e sala ka dia ya se nna teng Ramagosi. The breakthrough tsa yone ke with regards to intelligence, with regard to security sa lehatsi. Kore le khone eng a le kile la re bolella gore disaster e tla le kile la re bolella gore senane sentse yana economy go rile yeah, so that out there Batswana ba feel gore DIS ka re ga e concentrate mo its core mandate ya go bona gore security, intelligence, what. So a totala concentrate more your core mandate and the breakthroughs ki div. Sabo hello chairman. I get go tla be go le in order gore go go hello le re tlanetse hela your brief background, le qualifications. Could I go on a deputy yana? I read over a professional accountant, a lawyer, a we to deal with intelligence. O santi peer mela o riana hela. Thank you.
Thank you, Mwami. Sir, Tota Hanzi Releka by all means where possible to avoid getting into the operational spaces Salapata. Because when we get into the operational space, we are actually exposing a lot of things. And it is a pity, Mangame, the committee that we should be giving that information to. I see anything, but I can assure you, once the committee gets in place, one, we have recommended in the past, once the committee nothing, as a country, our what is the right word? Our structure and everything is in line with the British structure. We already made arrangements. Our counterparts were so that our committee a lot of insight so that they are well armed. So we find it difficult to into operational issues. Let's not go to the operational side of it.
Hey,
Mr. Chairman. Ke go pa follow mo ya fetsa go yaraba.
A kere le ka skala tshwenya ka nako ya re ke simola go tshwenya ka yone.
Era.
Ka gore nako is going way past lunch.
Nyame DG ke motlule bile ke tsa gore ke ke tlhaloganya gore o bua ka eng. But DG, even internationally, CIA, FBI, after they become successful, ko morago ba kgona go bua gore ke rona re irile gore Osama bin Laden a tshwarwe. They even tell us stage by stage gore ne ba tsamaya jang. Yaanong I don't see how re ska tsena too much into what his question was. Gore DIS since e fumiwa e achievile e re diretse eng re le batswa kana rena dipotso tse dintsi le nna santse ke ipotsa gore a mme ra e tlhoka. So ha re ka kry iphitlha ka monona gore nya ke operational all the time. You have to tell us what you have done for us that is good in the past.
It doesn't have implications, maybe even for. Yes.
On the word classification, if information is not declassified, I cannot divide it. It has to be declassified. There's a lot. So I wish we could be able to share. Make an act we can be able to declassify information before it gets into the public.
May I kindly write?
Yes, please.
Earlier on, you talked of perceptions, that most of what the public outcry is basing on is perception. Make a perception, to me, at least, it's a security threat. When people perceive, for instance, we have fake news now. But we have DIS. What are they doing about this new threat to privacy abatu, which effectively also affect security salahats? And then when we see new developments coming into play, DIS is a handler fake news through. There was a Facebook page by some guy, I forgot his name. More advancement in terms of technology, I mean AI. Protect against fake news, brewers. AI it's even more advanced. Are we safe under DIS? So perception here needs to be dealt with as a national security concern. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Let trade wars. What is DIS intake in that?
Yeah. Una le tsa di sekanyana ho dipotso tse di setseng ke batla gore ke go neele tse pedi bo wetsa ka gore yanong ba le bantsi ba lela ka nako.
Yes, sir. The next one in Elia, DIAS is getting involved in the tendering. Why is it DIAS involved in the tenders? DIAS does not make decisions on tenders, it advises. A tender, if something has happened that is not appropriate, the DIAS will advise the relevant ministry to say, this is what we see. The ministries, they take their own decisions. We don't tell them what to do. Example, the issue ya Maung project.
Yeah.
The actual company took us to court, but they lost. Why did they lose? Because we are facts. So, Harare no, we advise the relevant minister, this is what you see.
Are you not talking about the same company that was paid substantial sums of money without doing any job? Is that the same company?
That's the same company.
So,
that's right.
Okay.
And had that thing continued without being stopped, this country would have lost far more than what it lost. So that's why the decision was taken at that time to say, let's advise the relevant minister to see this. And because the relevant minister saw that as a fact, that's why the company went to court, but it lost the case.
They lost the case, but they made a kill out of no work.
It is at the end of the day, you look at the pros and cons. Should this thing continue, how much is this country going to lose? Should you rather lose now or lose more later? So these are the options that we give as advice. We don't dictate, we advise Mungani. And then the next one, Rananelia vetting. There are so many open positions. The responsibility of vetting, we don't tell the ministries here. No, we give you what we have come to. We've done our assessment vetting. Only ministry, you make a decision. So I would beg to differ the perception of the SCAB event. We've had that in the recent times, where some of the ministers would say, when we check, we find that we've actually responded. It's sitting with that particular ministry. It has happened before. But those are the things that we communicate rather than ministers to say, look here, let's try and work closely together so that Haridi in any way. We try by all means to serve the different ministries as diligently as possible. So everything I beg to differ that thought.
Ke tsa gore ke tsone tso teme mapelo ke le modulasetulo ke
ne ke buile ka bo public confidence ke re perception kana ke threat in line with what one member was also asking gore kana me gona le fake news. As much as you cannot tell us what you have achieved, people see what you have not achieved, and to them it is a problem. Like continuous fake news. We saw one account running until of recent. How prepared are you? If you are not able to deal with a fake account, AI, should we have the confidence we are not under threat? Our peace and security going forward.
Thank you for that. That's a very important one. I would like to believe, I can confidently say we are not under threat. I can confidently say that. Intelligence really knows as a country. We network in the region, in the continent, and globally. This problem here, social media and fake issues. We discuss these things throughout. Rally Forum as intelligence. There are strategies that we are working on, not only as Botswana, but as SADC, as Africa, and we connect to beyond Africa. There are certain challenges. They see no borders, just like terrorism. They see just no borders. What is happening here will be happening in Algeria, will be happening in Ghana, it will be happening in Zimbabwe. But for now, within the intelligence, at the operational level, there are a lot of things that we are working against these issues. We are tied to so many other international organizations, the UN, the AU, and many others. So we are looking at these threats not as individual Botswana. Some countries are actually facing even more than what we are facing. Like I said, it's to the operational side.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
DG, a few last ones. Sounds like we have sat in another room. You appeared at the PAC, and some of the things that we talked about, there are certain threats to national security that include high levels of poverty, that include high levels of unemployment, and high levels of inequality. We have talked about them. Just yesterday, I just saw the clip and repeated it. So where we are right now, we are a country that is facing some economic challenge of sorts. and issues of poverty, unemployment, and inequality could possibly be on the rise. Would you say these issues constitute a national security challenge to Botswana in the short, medium, or long term? That is first question. Because I am operating under the assumption that these things, poverty, unemployment, and inequality, are rising rather than abating. So that is the first question. The second question, Kore, Ramagos, puso e ntšha, kana go botlhokwa tota gore re ne re bua dilo gape re di buela gone ko pele ko. Puso e ntšha, puso e bua ka dikgang tse di tshwanang bo human rights. Tamaletse tota e bua ka dikgang tseno tsa human rights. Mme ke re lona le lephata la DIS, how are you aligning yourself? I mean, in the past 6 months, how are you aligning yourself with the human rights dimension that is being articulated by the new government? Are there any concrete issues or steps that you are taking to align yourself with the concept of human rights that the President of the Republic has talked about? Because you see, how much do you na puo hela e be lo re kgatha batho mme maphata a lebaneng a ba sa isa le morago le dira eng kgotsa le dirile in the past 6 months go gogela gone kong go gore eng jaanong le bole ka kgona go incorporate human rights in your practices as DIS. Re ska rata ra bona e le gore kae go ntse go gologolo hela mme re sologetse gore go nne le phetogo. Se sengwe ke gore puso e changeile mme gape e changela mo seemong sa lethoko le le gakgamatsang la madi. Are there any steps that you are taking go thomamisa gore in as much as le thoka madi a mantsi a no a bua gongwe le minimize di-cost tsa lona as a department so that le tele ba balele one madi a siong a buang ke Minister of Finance gore ga le dira eng ke batla go utlwa very concretely gore a mme go na le tseo tse le di dirang go leka go minimize sone seemo sone se engwe e builwe ke bakaulengwe mme ne ke re ke tsenya another dimension go na le kakanyo e bileng gongwe ka lebega le boammaaruri and even a time a court of law pronounced on this that go na le gore jaanong ga gongwe le hirelle mo ditirong tsa mapodisi le tshunyanko mo tirong tsa DCC le bo litela le gore tiro tse di tshwantseng ka bone di dirwa ke bone batho bane bao lona le hetse le tseneletse mo teng ebile le ba kgoreletsa and for lack of a better word sometimes even bullying them. A go mo ke nnete ha le ke nnete ke le dira jalo a mme le ta go emisa go utlwa gore rona le dingwe tseo di emisitseng mo nako e itileng ngwe ya tsone ke ne ke go kopile gore di emise ke itumela gore di emise ya go thola le ipoka ka di siren yano ye yone a mme le ta emisa yone ya gore e re le phata le tshwana DCC le na le mandate wa lone e be le gore yano ka moso ke rona le hong le meka ne le lone e bile o ga go lebega ke tukar le di file le kana la di demand go go bone ke re a kgang yeo a mme ke ngwa di kgantsele tsele ta di emisang ka gore tota nna ke dumela gore le tshwanetse la di emisa le la di dira ne ke dumela gore o re clarify le sente mandate wa lona. Mandate wa lona ke is it not just to gather intelligence that you give to relevant departments so that they can execute their responsibilities as contained mo acting ya lona ke re gone go mo ga go hirella ke se se tshwenyang thata mme ha ke sena go rialo ke bo ke re ne ke na le yone ya litigation ka gore boata jolo jo bo diragetseng go morago jo no bo ikothaela ebile o bua gore ha ke tla le bo dira bo ka tswa bo dirile gore le sekisiwe ke batho ba bantsi ke sone se ke reng ke batla go itse gore le hetse if you can le hetse le duetse madi a bokete jo boka either la duela directly or le duela through ages le duela batho ba eleng gore le ne la gataka ditshwanelo tsa bone go tsala skala tsamaisanya le bone le hetse di duetse bokae and if that is possible when you submit documents in information at there. You can submit in terms of in the last 5 years, how much have you lost to litigation? 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, and 1 year. So that when we get the Joreja or Totan le lateraloi, Kimadia Kanaka or Naruto but Barbasek, Baba Wele Baluna, ba pone bana ba gagwe ka o rona le bana so le do ofisara tsa ke re ngwe yo neo le one ko o re nele re tere utwe sente gore a mme gone ga se gore lathegelwa ke madi a mantsi ka boata jo e leng gore bo ne bo dirwa ke bangwe ba e leng gore wa re bile gangwe ba dira ba sa go bolelela ka tsone dipotso tsone tseo ke tsone tsa bogelo borra ke tsa gore diji o ta di araba
human rights
ra
ne re ke go tlatse mo go ya human rights chairman gore gore for example re magosi ne go na le issue le ya ga Museveni mo e le gore ne go tshwenya batho tota hela gore go na le mongwe la o faceless o sa dileng dilo sentle ne le itse ka ene ampona ne le mo romile a kra kgantelo rile le gona go roma motho gore a pretend gore wa utswa ke le godu 100 billion ele le yone go re botsa gore go tsamaya yang ka yone ele ya butterfly me go boela ka dikopile go ngale ka re tla background ya lona bo go jang just the three main leaders I think.
Thank you very much, Mungani. What do we see as a threat more the current situation where there's unemployment, there's poverty? Don't we see them as threats? So we do see those things as threats. Earlier on, in the security, I spoke about the hard security and the soft security. So the soft security falls within the economic and social part of it. We do see those things as serious threats. And I believe even in the previous PAC session, I had covered the same. For this we see as threats to our national security.
Where are we? Are we averting the situation in any way, or is being escalated to unacceptable levels?
We believe that through our participation in the assessment or the discussion on security issues with government, we believe that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. We believe there will be improvement. But obviously time will tell. We strongly believe that.
No, not time will tell. We need your intelligence.
No, what I'm saying, Maragare, according to intelligence, we believe it will improve. Looking at the discussions that we have been doing, advising government on what we see, and getting the feedback from government that these are the areas that we are focusing on. We strongly believe there will be a difference in Moran. And then the second one, you said, what are you doing in terms of human rights issues? I believe everything that we're doing Moran today, human rights issues are part of that. Everything that we do. You will not be able to see it now, but look at the activities of the DIS moving forward. The activities on their own, Mungame, it will show you how human rights are being observed. And it's one of those things.
You say you are doing something, but you can't say clearly that we are doing A, B, C, D, E to incorporate human rights into our culture and into our operations.
It is, we have gotten into a different way of doing things. Can I give an example? There's so many things that we're doing as a way to turn around the entire organization. And everything that we're doing as different pieces that make the system move, human rights is observed. I can promise you, sir, that you will never have any problem going forward on issues of human rights.
Go retsa batho lo emisitse ba bua ka di phone.
Mongame, o nkgwagela ko go sele ke go ba re se ra go morena.
O nya a ke re Tautona wa lehatshe la Botswana o na bua a papametse mo khoteng a bua gore go mo go tshwantse go eme mme ebile le ha go kata go eme pele gore mo go dirile ka bo here he wouldn't even care to listen.
It will never.
When wari go gogela ka
No, sir. Tautona o rile ga gona go diragala ga go se go diragale ha re batla go reetsa ra go court e re ha tetla gore kgone go reetsa mongane, and we'll do that. We'll definitely do that, sir. So ga gona gope, I promise you, ga gona gope ha o tana le ngongorego o le motsadi gore ngwanaka hale o ntela ro da dira ya me ga o dira yalo. It will not happen. Everything will be done according to the law. That's the fact, sir. It's a promise, Brana. Thank you, sir. And then, okay, human rights to be like interference. There's been a lot of concern in the past for a DIS interferes with the I strongly believe excuse me.
Let me just interject here.
Yes, sir.
You are traveling, right?
We are traveling tonight, sir.
Right?
We are traveling at 6 o'clock.
Is your time okay?
It's bad. If we could be out by 4, because we need to get the airport by 5, sir.
Okay, that's fine. We will make sure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I would refer to the act. Section 1.
Section 5, subsection 1, subject to subsection 3, the function of the Directorate are to A. Investigate, gather, coordinate, evaluate, correlate, interpret, disseminate, and store information, whether inside or outside Botswana, for the purposes of I1. Detecting and identifying any threat or potential threat to national security. 2. Advising the President and the government of any threat or potential threat to national security. 3. Taking steps to protect the security interest of Botswana, whether political, military, or economic. B. Gather ministerial intelligence at the request of any government, ministry, department, or agency, and without delay, to evaluate and transmit as appropriate to that ministry, department, or agency such intelligence and any other intelligence at the disposal of the Directorate, which constitutes ministerial intelligence. C. Regulate in cooperation with any government ministry, department, or agency entrusted and any aspect of the maintenance of national security, the flow of intelligence and security, and the coordination between the Directorate and the ministry, department, or agency, or functions relating to the intelligence. D.
You're reading the whole book now.
Ke ne ke batla gore
gona go pega go teng o tshwantse gore o tsene go wildlife bo dira tiro ya wildlife kgotsa ko mapodisi o dira tiro ya bone kgotsa ko DCC o dira tiro ya bone go yo go
ga o ya morena
o tuile sentle.
yes sir jaanong mo nako e hitileng re ne re lebelela certain activities really level like issues that affect our responsibility as a custodian of national security. I'll give you an example, sir. If the nation start to lose confidence in any other ministry or department, that loss of confidence it be here to the point where it affects the running of the country. We look at that as an issue of national security, and therefore that's where we intervene. Now, all the other areas where in the past we were seen to be intervening, it was not done with the intent.
So it's intervening, not interfering.
No, intervening, sir, not interfering. The other person might be saying it's interference, but we on our side will say, no, it's intervening, because the situation is escalating to the point where the nation lose confidence in government. That's the point of national security. That's why we intervene. However, I would like to believe her. As time went on, we had to sit down and say to each other, okay, fine, let's try and define ourselves in this way to avoid that. Where we are today, I believe you'll never hear that again. Because we kept on sitting down, reevaluating how we are working as interagency organizations, and we came to the point there, no, but Arieming. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
We just hope what you are telling us is the truth.
Hold me to that, sir. Hold me to it.
Yeah.
Hold me to it. I will not disappoint you or any one of our senior officers.
You know, Chairman, but somebody told me how to intelligence. They cannot deny nor confirm. It's all grey.
o eta gone ha a re ta bantsa a hirile motiro e mo go ta o ta gone a re ta bona motho ha tsa ola sesha timona le ntse le teng re ta bua ja
Thank you, Manga.
ona le mitsa ya le re fana.
The other one in the Tautona Act ke tlhalosa le gore e kgone gore thusa go tlhaloganya gore the investigating powers are part of what they have to do. Museveni ba ba ntse Museveni ha mme ba Museveni ba botlhe morena we were following them throughout but re be re nna le our own ways without attracting the public attention to make these people understand what you're doing is harmful to the country. So but we're still engaging by the online papers. We are communicating. What we want to do, Mara, is to try and educate people, make them understand whatever activity we do, do it, especially within the social media space. Do it to build the country, not to break the country. So this is what we continuously do. We know what other colleagues like Baba Police. How talk sense into him. So these are the things that we cannot stop, Morena. To be honest, we can't stop it.
But you can substantially reduce them.
Exactly.
To levels that are not.
That's what we are fighting to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
But couldn't my question Kamutu, Ampobato, Bakaro, Babanti, Baturun Sitele Hatsi, Baturun Sebato for a very long time. alikela kopa le one la ba khalemela. I think that's my, and I le ba khalemetsa ane ba utlwa, or it went on for a very long time.
Thank you, Mangami. Bane ba utlwa mme ka la motho ke motho se. Bane ba utlwa mme tla re khantela hale o nga ba simolla. Mme ga re se re le pelo. We continuously spoken to them. Ba online media, I think the last time we kopane le one ke about 3 months back, where we tried to sit down and say, look here, give us an opportunity. Let's say our side of the story. Not only us. Any government department, your job is to keep the nation informed. Our job is to keep the nation secured. We need each other. And therefore, we try by all means to keep on talking to them. We have even gone to the point of sitting down in Labour, MISA, Labour, what's the other one? Interest Forum. Because we have always said we need each other. Lona is the media space. You must keep us on our toes. Where we mess up, you will hit us. And we're not going to take offense out of that. At the same time, reporting in a responsible manner, not is something we'll continue doing throughout. Thank you for that.
Yeah, me, I get our road where it's who hits on a sugar, Kakwano, what's our flyer, Tatanyana, me, get our road where it's return level, Lady Bucatini.
Nigirga and level fellow chairman.
Right.
DG, Holofale, Warabile wouldn't how would opposite interference when our intervention. But there's a court case here, you have overreached and you lost that case. So, court is a more credible in this case. Or there are instances where you have interfered. I hope how Utzusishaka Utwalaga. How not like a Lucy. Lagarle Fari Buayana, Pangmarna Buarsuhilega, your institution has got a very terrible reputation. Bahama, they have a coat to get some Lila Telemun now. But I hope misinformation and fake news.
One perception in see we were key report. Can I Q&A? I got a word now when now we are Ukatora can say I say like the one I have how got the Guineans Holy Women. Nagata Musara Alamoring are way to be.
You will again we fake news. Trampiegu Yakobua Warabasint Museveni Unyelezeli change of government, which clearly indicates to me that he was an instrument of the former regime, aided by the DIS. I say this because Museveni sometimes had such explosive and secretive information. Your type or your organization is the only one that can access such. Ra uwa tagampi ko meka itse ha gona ope o ka buang a dirile phoso ba ke irile jana so go jang in your field ra ya ka uwa you cannot confirm or deny re go tlile a dilo tse di emeretso a dilo tse di emer mo governmenteng o mosha go tle ba ba shwa re tle go bua gona le your predecessor who once said there gore no one can control him. I like ka fo o le mbiko bo ka teng me ka fukilitseng ga gatele gona go ira alo lele the other way a go siamera
ya ne ke re ira follow up mo dipotsong tse ne se di boditswe Mr Chairman ko gore ke le mo gore DG do la hana go e chaile gona le dipotso tsa khona go di pedisa matha ke tsora ba sa di kwa khanye ya 100 billion kana go se gona le mena huna gore ne le scam ke ba Jazeera. So I can no confirm ka gore ne e boditswe
Thank you, Mami. Ke kopa hore ke ska ka kgela mo kganye ka hore sentse le ko makgotlatshekelong. Mme ho ha re bineng ka go sebetsa ka go ha my version mo mme ha re ha ke kopa hore ka ko makgotlatshekelong mongame e ka tloga ya ka senya sengwe. Thank you, Mongame.
Nyami, ke tsa gore ra buile ne re le mo executive summary mme ra bo re tola gape re ya ka ko Auditor General's report because kgang kgolo ka ko Auditor General's report, if you may correct me, e ne le yone ya Tautona logi go teng ga yo mo di aseteng tsa puso re bona hela go te la re tenne se yo ko re na le buka e tona e ga ke yone asa e se yo ko matshwenyego ene la ona mme ne ke re ka buka ya go e bile nyenyane ga se gore gongwe re tsene mo yone memorandum of progress re bo re ka wetsa dikgang tsa rona tsa letsatsi re ditse re ka lebaka le leele a ke itse gore a monna yo Thabo e konto eme ga go nna no we are going home. What
Thank you, Chair. Can I proceed?
Yes, please. Yes,
Thank
please.
you. Yeah. There isn't much like Ubile Chair reporting your DIS in terms of the accounts and the Auditor General. But more page 12, Chair, the comments that system problem. Like we said in the morning, said system problem, we'll address them and get back to the committee as and when we resolve them. They have been reported to our office, we are aware of those. And then we'll move on to page 20. Unless but we can move on to page 20. On page 20, item withholding tax. The comment is that they had engaged, the agency has engaged the BRS. We don't have it here. If they have, they can submit it to this committee chair. And lastly, on page 23, similarly, there is no evidence pertaining to the comment. There was an advance that was created, and later on there was a refund which lies outside this reporting period. So evidence like the creation, the salary overpayment, and the reduction that was made. Thank you, Chair. My colleagues are here from the Auditor General. Have an listening with all assist. Thank you.
Ke kopa hore ke ne le my Director of Finance Mongame a tla e tlhalosa. Thank you, sir. Nya ikhusana Mongame nka tlhalosa. Ke tsa di officer ba neng ba itsetsa madi a puso. Yes, sir. Ke ba go ana mo dikgetsing ba batla mo dikgetsing so re kgona go re reconcile e be re batla le dikgato Mongame. Ke tsona hela tseo se.
So ra re go motho gore batho ba itsele madi.
Mme gape go motho gore ba tshwaro se.
Go motho gore ba tshwaro. Ke ra go motho gore ba tse one madi a teng ka ra ho ne ya no le kgona go ba tshwara ga.
Ke motho yo na hilo maikarabelo a go tlhokomela madi. Ya no kana ke na tshwarang key. Ga ka nna le bothata ba gore a kgone go tsaya madi mme ka gore we have measures in place to ensure for those gaps have been there. That's why go tsere kgato e Mongane.
Ya me itwetse ona le nngwe gape Maskoba.
Chair, that those were the only ones. I said they'll be closed with the technical advisor, and those that needs to be monitored or elite memo, she'll do the same. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. Technical advisor.
Okay, maybe let's just rush through. Like I was, I didn't. Page 12 will be memos, and then the rest is monitor up to. And then page 19 is closed. And then 20, it's memo. 21, close the first one, memo the second one. Page 22, kitty memo. 23 memos. And page 24, memo. And then page 25, you close the middle one, memo, the other two. Well done.
Okay. Yeah, you can ask a question. Quick one.
Yeah, a quick one. Earlier on, Mr. Chair was asking on litigation. Has there been incidents where just maybe a ballpark figure, because we have in here people who are surcharged, were any officers charged by yourself or the public in their personal capacities? Do you have any cases before court? It's a DIS, but it's individuals who work for DIS. And if so, what has been done to resolve such? Were you charged, I mean, do the individuals pay or labaduelela as DIS?
Just a read up on that one. Yeah, accounting officer are very clear to this committee. And I read to get a heart. Hongar Valella or Hamuta, I say it's my dear push. What do I say, Monsieur, or such a because that is a criminal offense. How can you melana or Garo such a without court sentence or judgment? Ubu musachaja hela velo hore wena o motsela dikgato ko phelong ya letsatsi ka ra motho ntseng ya lo tshwantse ra hela dismissiwa ya no go ngwane very clear gore bone ba sa charge hela a go possible.
Take that one.
Okay. There are cases where, as employees, in our line of duty, in our personal capacity. Do you have incidents where people were perceived to have acted under your employment? Maybe cover any cases or maybe vicarious liability now, and the government coffers get to pay. Do you also have, in the same line of thinking, people who lose their jobs on perception, they overreached whilst carrying duties to the agency? And if that is the case, what has been done as a remedial action to such people? My interest here is welfare, your current and former and future. Because I'm a trade unionist, so I will always speak for those people. Or do you have those that are out because they were perceived to have done something, DISA or something? Thank you very much.
Okay, we understand.
Thank you, Mongami. During the past tenure as the Director General, sir, we have never at any stage gone into a situation whereby an officer does something out there and we as the organization, it has never happened. Two, should there be any situation, it will be assessed. His own personal interest or her personal interest or national interest. And those are the factors that we'll consider before taking such a decision. That has not taken place, madam.
Okay.
On the issue of Mongame Desedian, can you go to Simulaga on a page? Yeah, go back to Mongame.
Yeah, Nikir, Homa Kun very clear. I know gore under disciplinary le ka tsela motho disciplinary action gore ke ra mo gore ha le sa charge lona hela le sa charge millena le those powers because kana go mo it's a criminal offense ke yone ne ke batla gore on the very clear ke yone.
You follow up on this. I mean, there was a matter concerning a minister, I think it's in the public domain, against some Museveni matter. I think the parties in that matter was not DIS, but some officer or officers within the DIS. I don't know how far the matter is in terms of its conclusion before the court, but along that line, do you have incidents where an individual will be picked, issue a court, and then what will be your reaction to such? In particular, this one, one officer who take him.
Is this the case of Unity Dow?
Yes, on that one,
the Unity Dow versus
him, the officer acted in his personal capacity, took the matter to the courts. Even though it is something that say a malepata, but the officer felt horror. I would not want to be limited to koparki kemele makesi nyami, and he did that. But what is important is to make sure that you do not divulge any information that came into your possession by virtue of your employment. That was the determining factor. Or you will not be allowed or where who expose the operation is a part. Make out you can is okay. Well, you can in that issue.
Okay.
Three documents that govern our operations. The DPSM Act, the DS Act, the what you want? Robert, DPSM Act, DS Act, and no.
Sorry, ¿qué tal?
Okay, that's right. Okay. Sorry, sir. With three documents to the governor. The National Security Act, the DS Act, and the DPSM Act. So every activity, it must be in
yeah, for correction. Yes. Not sure how ki DPSM can get Public Service Act.
Public Service Act under the DPSM. Thank you for that, sir. So every activity, we make sure that we do it within the bounds of those documents binding us to do certain things in certain ways. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Oh, okay.
There is also the Public Finance Management Act, which regulates the power of surcharge, where the power of surcharge has been devolved and delegated to the accounting officers. Your neighbor assistant, thank you.
So, banale marapo le channel.
To an extent, in terms of where they can write off or where they can abandon.
Surcharges the surcharger.
Say.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, let me just.
Attorney General.
No, even kind of administrative action can be taken against a particular person. Say Ajile Madi, Utsuli. But at the same time, criminal investigations can be started and a docket sent to the DPP for prosecution. Those can go parallel.
Okay.
All right. Chairman, never doing it's all about background there.
Background, yeah. no nna ke dumela gore ra buile batho ra buile mare le boge ba DIS gore bo ba tsile kwano ba tla ba araba dipotso tsa mapalamente ke tsaya gore le di arabile ka bojotlhe ja lona re utile gore kgang ya Tautona Lodge e tsamaile ka tsela e ntseng jang re emetse di-documente re ta di leba re bo re leka go establisha gore tota mme tse re di boleletsweng ke tsone jaaka re di boleletswe le utile gore DG o supa gore ba tsetswe sešwa ka ga ke mo utlwang ka teng mme ebile ke utlwa a bua gore in all their activities they are anchored on the concept of human rights a re ba lebe tota maratsi re ba lebe tota ke itse gore molete o ka re o tshogilenyana gore a ba kopane le ene magosi go raya gore o mo mathateng ya nna ke le ra kopana le ene mme re ntse re teng tsa gore ke dumela gape gore o thuswa ke banna ke bale monna yo wa mothusi wa go kuta gore ke agente ke tsaya gore ga go te human rights wa itse gore go tsamaelwa kae yo la ke itse gore ke ene o bete yo nkile ka moruta bogologolo ke ene yo e gore a ngwe a kopa le nna balaseo ka one do ja ke itse gore matago ke obet ke motswana hela ka batswana ba bangwe o nne o bua le nna go tsa go tshaba ene magosi mme ke re na le dijo re na le dijo gone a se gore lela ditso lote mme ba le leng teng re ka tsamaya yo thaelang a itseela gore kore ne re le bantsi thata so mme re ka tsamaela ko dijong mme tare ga le tsamaela ko dijong ba tla le supetsa ke ha longe ke ha longe Tautona tare ke ha longe so rona e tare ha le tsamaela teng le ba kaetse hong rona bo re sala 2 minutes hela go dira housekeeping matters rona ke ra le bone ba the 3 AGs ba ta salahana ba supegetseng go ba ka bonang dijo teng batho betso re berekile tiro e thata tsatsi eno re chaisa ka what's the time almost 4 me re dira la sharp tumelo ya me ke gore tse re di dumalaneng ga di ta diragadiwa batho betso ke a leboga. Thank you very much Ramagosi and team ebile wa saluta ke ra lesedi ka re ebile wa saluta o bone gore mane wa saluta